वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधेतमस्तमाविद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। 102nd class today. वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते।
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते।
एवं च
वेदान्तवाक्यैः
सद्गुरु उपदेशेन च सर्वेषु अपि भूतेषु येषां ब्रह्म बुद्धिरुत्पन्ना ते जीवन्मुक्ताः भवन्ति। With the help of Vedanta Vakyas and the Upadesha of the Guru, Sadguru, Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru. Vedanta Vakyehi Sadguru Upadeshena cha Yesham Brahma Buddhihi Utpanna. Vedanta Vakya, not just listening, Shravanam, Mananam, Iridhyasanam. So that is called Vichara. Vedanta Vakya Vicharena. Sadguru Guroho Mukhat. Yani Vedanta Vakyani Shrutani तेषां विचारः कर्तव्यः। विचारं कृत्वा मननद्वारा, श्रवणमननद्वारा, then that nishtha happens in that knowledge. Brahma Buddhi is born out of that knowledge. Those in whom this Buddhi, Brahma Buddhi is born, they become Jivan Muktaha. Jivan eva Muktaha Bhavanti. While living itself, they become free. So therefore, as a result of analyzing the Vedanta Vakyas, as it comes from the mouth of the Guru, Sadguru. Why Sadguru? Because he knows the truth. He knows the Sat Brahma. Sat Brahma Janati. Therefore, Sadguru. So, therefore, receiving the knowledge from such a teacher, the Shishya gets Brahma Buddhi, Atma Buddhi, Jnanam. Therefore, Moksha iti. So, here we discussed this line in the last class. One important thing is to be understood. Vedanta Vakyas, I mentioned this before. Vedanta Vakyas are the Pramanam for knowledge. Shabda Pramanam, Vedanta, Shabda Pramanam for gaining the knowledge of Brahma. Vedanta is not the Pramanam to establish the existence of Atma. For that, we don't need Pramanam. To prove, to establish, to ascertain the existence of Atma, no Pramanam is required. Because Atma is already existent. You are already existing. How do you know that you are existing? Because you are there, you are talking, you are walking, you are saying, I am. You are existing. If you don't exist, then how can you be there? So that is you, the pure you, or the pure I, whatever it may be, whether you call it Madhyama Purusha or Uttama Purusha. That is Atma. It is self-evident. So whenever you say, I am, Atma is evident. But when you say Aham Bandhaha, there are only problems. Aham Bandhaha, Aham Sukhi, Aham Dukhi, Aham Samsari. There also Atma is there, but Atma is superimposed by your conditions. Atma seems to be conditioned. Atma can never be conditioned. You seem to condition the Atma by superimposing a lot of the attributes. Attributes are limited. So therefore, Atma seems to be limited. The unlimited, the Purna Atma, seems to be Parichinna Atma. Therefore, but Atma is evident, self-evident. That Parichinna Atma, Shuddha Atma is now because of your superimposition is taken to be Anatma. That's a problem. So therefore, that is Ajnanam. Not knowing. That's a mistake committed. That's the error committed. That error has to be rectified. That is what the rectification of the error is what this Vedanta Vakyas do. Knowledge removes that error. Mistake is committed. Error is committed. Error because of Ajnanam. Therefore, to correct the error, what is required? Jnanam. And that is what this Pramanam gives. Vedanta as a Pramanam gives knowledge to rectify the mistake. So not that knowledge reveals the existence of or proves the existence of Atma. So since you concluded Agam Samsari, that is wrong because of the error, that wrong conclusion. Because it is wrong, that wrong is because of Ajnanam. So therefore, to remove that Ajnanam, what is required? Jnanam. Instead of saying Aham Purnaha, you are saying Aham Bandhaha. So Aham Bandhaha Ajnanam to be replaced by Aham Purnaha Ajnanam. That is the subject matter of the Vedanta. That is what Vedanta does. So therefore, Vedanta doesn't prove, doesn't establish, doesn't reveal, doesn't show the existence of Atma. It is to remove the wrong knowledge regarding Atma. So therefore, Atma being always there, you being always there. If you are not there, then how can you pursue even Vedanta? How can you sit in the class and listen to the words of the Shastra? How Shravanam is possible? So you are there. The Pramata is there. The knower is there. Without the knower, there cannot be pravritti towards Pramana. Pramana pravritti not possible. So therefore, Vedanta is a pramanam in removing the ajnanam regarding Atma, the mix-up. This ajnanam is because of the seemingly mixing up of Atma and Atma. So therefore only this Vedanta Vakya is required. As a Pramata, you operate other means of knowledge, Pratyaksham, Anumanam, Arthapatti, Upamanam, Anupalabdhi. All these are the means a Pramata applies to know things which are available for objectification. So, Pramata is required for operating these means of knowledge. But how can the Pramata know the very nature of Pramata itself? With this means of knowledge, what he has in his hand, only these 5 means of knowledge, Pancha Purushaya Pramanani eva, this Pramata has. With that, how can a Pramata know the nature of Pramatru? There is no other way other than the Shabda Pramanam. Therefore, Pramata, the knower, has to expose himself to the teaching of the Vedanta Vakya to know his real nature. So, therefore, only Vedanta Vakyahi Sadguru Upadeshena cha. So, wanting to know the Swarupam of Pramata, the knower exposes himself to the Vakyas of the Vedanta. And when the Shabda Pramanam is operated, the Pramata, unlike in other Pramanam, it doesn't have to do anything. It doesn't have to become even Karta. In fact, the Pramanam is to remove the Kartrutvam, Doktrutvam. So no action is involved. Action, if at all if it is involved, it is only in the beginning to make yourself ready to sit in the class. Once it is done, then expose yourself to the Shravanam, the teaching. The knowledge happens. In the case of other Pramana, for example, if you want to see an object, a flower, the Pramata, he has to open the eyes. So you have to Netra Unmilanam Karaniyam, you have to open your eyes. So opening the eyes, you have got free will. You can choose to open the eyes or you can keep it closed. Your choice is there. But the moment the eyes are open, the moment the object comes under the ambit of your vision, then you don't have any choice but to know the object. There is no free will involved to know the object. You have to. It happens. Knowledge takes place without your free will. Eyes are open, object is there, knowledge takes place. Where is your free will? No free will is involved. Only the opening the eyes. that moment only you have got free will. That is free, that is will based. But in gaining knowledge, no free will. The moment you open your eyes, the Pramata, you, the Pramata, gets the knowledge of the object of knowledge. Prameya Jnanam Bhavati. Similarly, with regard to ears also, ears like eyes doesn't have any lock, doesn't have any shutter, unless your mind is absorbed in something else. So expose yourself to the teaching. You don't have any choice. When you listen, when you are available for listening, make yourself available for listening. That there only free will is involved. Once it is done, the words which enter the ears must give knowledge. There is no choice also. There also no free will is involved. Maybe you have got free will in fixing your headphone to hear the Upadesha. Once it is done, the words, when the words fall on your ears, the knowledge takes place without your free will. This is what the Pramanam, all the Pramanam does. So Pramanam doesn't require your free will to give you knowledge. The Pramata enjoys the privilege of seeing, hearing, smell. He can operate all the indriyas, and they give knowledge that no free will is involved. Your free will is suspended when you expose yourself to the Pramanam. This is what the Pramanam does. This is how Pramana operates. In Pramanam, there is no free will involved. In gaining knowledge from a Pramana, through operating a Pramanam, no free will is involved. Free will is involved in the preparation of exposing oneself to the Pramana. Only before. Once the Pramanam starts operating, you don't have choice. Knowledge bound to happen. Helplessly, you will have knowledge. Similarly, here, Vedanta being a Pramanam, the Pramata, you have to expose to the teaching. Expose to the teaching. Be with all your ears. Then what does Vedanta do? The words of the Vedanta Vakyani, they knock off the Ajnanam. They knock off the Ajnanam regarding Atma, which is mixed up with Anatma, and Atma is taken to be Anatma is taken to be Atma. There is a Paraspara transfer of attributes. Atma is Chaitanyam, Anatma is Jadam. The Jada is considered to be Chaitanyam and enjoying Chaitanyam. And Atma seems to have the attributes of Jada. That's why only when the person dies, we say when the person dies, only the Shariram, death is nothing but the separation of the Sukshma Sharira. We say the person dies. Atma doesn't die. If the person doesn't die, then why should people cry surrounding him? And that too with this body. Body is anyways going to die only. It is Anatma. That is taken to be Atma. That is taken to be the person. Therefore, there's a mix-up. It's very clear there's a mix-up. So, therefore, this Jnanam knocks off that mistake, error. Error because of this Ajnanam, this ignorance. This Ajnana Vritti. Ajnana Vritti is knocked off by the Jnana Vritti. Ajnanam which is there. What is the cause of Ajnanam? We cannot ask. This Ajnanam, Vidya is Anadi. It has been there, beginninglessly it is there. But it can be ended. It can be put to an end by exposing oneself to this Pramanam, Shabda Pramanam. It creates what? Shabda Pramanam, it creates Jnana Vritti. This Jnana Vritti knocks off the Ajnana Vritti. Jnana Vritti is Jnanam, knowledge. It knocks off the notion, Agam Karta, Agam Bhokta, Aham Pramata. Agam Data, Agam Bhakta, all these are the notions. Agam is, you see, with how many things Agam is connected. Agam is considered to be Karta, considered to be Bhokta, considered to be Bhakta, considered to be Pramata, considered to be Ganta, Aganta, with all the Kriya, with all the emotions of the mind, the thoughts of the mind, Agam is connected with. With everything Agam is there. But Agam not being affected by any of this remains as it is. This Karta, Bhokta, Pramata, all these things are Anatma. Agam is Shuddha Chaitanyam. So, when this jnana happens, the Agam which is mixed up with Anatma, it is seen as it is, understood as it is, Shuddha Chaitanyam. So, Atma is Shuddha Chaitanyam. The knowledge removes Ajnana. That has to be understood very clearly. The knowledge removes Ajnana. The knowledge, any knowledge, the knowledge with regard to an object also. You have an ignorance, Ajnana with regard to an object. It means you don't have correct knowledge of the object, or you don't know the object. A knowledge is nothing but, a knowledge of an object is nothing but what that knowledge, what the object is. The knowledge of an object is as true as the nature of the object. The knowledge and the object of knowledge is inseparable. The knowledge, the object which exists externally, that alone in the form of knowledge is in your mind. Therefore, the knowledge of an object is as true as the nature of the object. So if I say apple, apple is a word. When you hear the word, the knowledge of apple, you have the knowledge of apple. So the apple which is outside and the knowledge of apple, they are inseparable. The knowledge of apple doesn't exist, doesn't have separate existence from apple. The knowledge of the apple is as true as the nature of the apple. So, therefore, the knowledge of Atma is as true as the nature of Atma. When the Atma is known, when knowledge of Atma is gained, then the wrong knowledge that is removed. Ajnana apanayanam happens. Atma is Shuddha Chaitanya. So when Atma is Shuddha Chaitanyam, when you expose yourself to the Vedanta Pramana, what happens? The knowledge takes place. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of Atma. And knowledge of Atma happens to be as true as the nature of the Atma, the Swarupam of the Atma, which is you. That knowledge only in the form of thoughts, vritti, takes place, vritti jnanam takes place by listening to the Vedanta Vakyam. That removes the Ajnanam. Ajnana nivritti is alone moksha. Now, if the words remove Ajnanam, then why can't I study Vedanta by myself? Why should I go to a teacher? Why should I do Guru Sishrusha? Author has mentioned Sadguru Upadeshena cha. Why he is called Sadguru, as I told? Because he teaches Sad Brahma, Sad Vastu. That is called Sadguru. Guru is Ukaraha. Ukarastu andakaro vai Ukaraha tannivartakaha. Andakara nirodhitvat Guru rityabhidiyate. So anyone who removes Ajnanam is called Guru. Not that anyone is Guru, only in the context of Vedanta, this Atma Jnanam. One who removes the Ajnanam according Atma and gives knowledge of Atma is called Guru. But anyway, the word Guru is used nowadays in many places. The one who teaches mathematics, max Guru, science Guru, physics Guru, Natya Guru, So many gurus are there. For singing, the one who teaches sing songs, that's also guru. Sadvastu, the one who teaches the subject matter of Vedanta, is also a guru. One more guru. It is not one more guru. In fact, he is the guru. The word guru is exclusively used only for this. Because the definition, guru means dispeller of ignorance. Ignorance we have with regard to many things. Therefore, whoever removes ignorance with regard to any field is called a guru, loosely called guru. But the one who removes the ignorance, the ignorance which is ultimate ignorance. Why it's called ultimate? Because removing that, you cannot be ignorant anymore. That person is called really Guru Sadguru. That's why Sadguru is important. The word adjective Sadguru. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam is called Shrotriya Brahmanishta. Why Shrotriya Brahmanishta? We say Shrotriya is one who has listened to the teaching of the Vedanta. It means he must have been disciple. It means he doesn't tamper with the Vakyas of Vedanta. As he has received from the Guru, it's just like a pipe, a conduit. Just transfer the knowledge as it has been received in the Sampradaya. You cannot tamper with the teaching of Vedanta. You cannot tamper with the Vakyas of Vedanta. Unless he understands, unless he is with the Guru, he cannot understand. The Guru makes sure that he understands, the Shishya understands. So, clear understanding, clear vision, that person, that is possible only when the person had been a disciple and learned the Shastram. Therefore, Shrotriya we say. Whether the person is Brahmanishta or not, we don't know. That we cannot say. Maybe his life only can tell whether he is a Brahmanishta or not. Even Brahmanishta, Nishtatvam not there, fine. If he has a Shrotriya, then he can be considered as your Guru. That's important. So that is one thing. Vedanta Vakya is Sadguru Padeshanacha. By the Vakya that are employed by the teacher. So therefore, Vedanta Vakyas are not something which you can independently inquire into. Because unless you are someone who has the ability to understand and employ the sentences of Vedanta properly, you cannot understand it. Therefore, to understand the words of Vedanta, important thing, to understand the words of Vedanta, you should have the understanding of the whole. To understand the whole, you must have knowledge of the each word of the Vedanta, of Vedanta Vakya. Vedanta Vakya, to understand the sentence of Vedanta, you must have knowledge of the whole. To have the knowledge of the whole, you must understand the each word of the Vakya. So, one has to have the vision of the whole, have the knowledge of the whole to understand the words of the given sentence. Unless you know the whole, you cannot understand the parts. As the parts constitute the whole. Unless you know parts, you cannot understand the whole. Unless you know the whole, you cannot understand the parts. Unless you know the parts, you cannot understand the whole. Now you are in a big hole now. It's a catch-22 situation. To understand the Vedanta, you must have the knowledge of the whole. And the whole knowledge of the whole not possible without understanding the parts. That is why Guru is required. That is why Guru is required. This Shanti Pata is a Purnamadav Purnamidam. It looks like a simple Shanti Pata. Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Unless you have the vision of the Shastram, you cannot understand Purnamadaha. To have the vision of the whole, you must know this individual, the parts by part. Who can then, how will you know it? Only Guru can handle. You can overcome this problem only by exposing yourself to the Vakya as exposed, as taught by the teacher. Therefore, you should have Shraddha in the teacher. Therefore, only teacher is emphasized, Sadguru. Otherwise, why you say Sadguru? Just say Vedanta Vakya. That is enough. Vedanta Vakya alone can give you knowledge. That is not possible. Vedanta, to understand the Vedanta Vakya, you must have the vision of the whole. To have the vision of the whole, you must have the understanding of the words of the Vakya. That's why I give the example of this Purnamada Shanti Pata. Purnamada is the Shanti Pata presents a vision of the whole Shastra. So therefore, you need to have the vision of the whole Shastra. Then only you can understand the words of this. Unless you know the words, the parts by parts of this Shanti Pata, you cannot have the vision of the whole. That is the catch-22 situation. Only if the person is cured from madness, he can marry. Somebody will give a girl. Only when he is married, the madness will go. So catch-22 situation. Similarly here also. So therefore only teacher is required. Vaidika Sampradaya Guru Upadeshena cha. How that person knows, he knows from his teacher. How that person knows, he knows from his teacher. How that person knows, he knows from his teacher. So goes on and on. That is why it's called a lineage, Sampradaya. Arsha Parampara. It came from the Rishis. Started from the Rishis. Then how did the Rishis, they know? Who taught the Rishis? Who taught the Rishis? We don't ask the questions. We don't ask such questions. Who taught the Rishis? Rishis, they received it from the Lord. It's a pramanam. Ishvara operated this pramanam for the Rishis, made the Rishis see the truth as he revealed. So, we can go only up to the Rishis, and Rishis received this knowledge from Ishvara. Ishvara gave this knowledge. Ishvara operated his knowledge even for the Rishis. So, ultimately, it came from Bhagavan. That's why we ask question also, we will go only up to the Rishis. Beyond Rishis, we will not ask. Rishi Moolam na vicharayet. Nadi Moolam, Rishi Moolam na vicharayet. Don't inquire about the Rishi Moolam, Nadi Moolam. How did the Rishi come? Don't ask. Every family, if you trace, it may end up with some Rishi. At least in India or anywhere you can say, it must end up with some Rishi. Who is the father of the Rishi? You cannot ask. Bhagavan alone. That's why Rishi Moolam na vicharayet. Don't inquire into the Nadi Moolam. From where the river has originated, you cannot inquire. Very difficult. If you go and see Gangotri, or if you go and see the origin of Kaveri, it is from a small spring, like that. From that, the huge river has formed. You may wonder. That is why now vichari, because you will just simply remain in wonder. You cannot know how it is. That is how it is. But don't inquire into the Rishi Moolam, Nadi Moolam, we say. What is the real source of the river? You cannot see, you cannot find. Where you can see the source. The source may be like a tap water. From that, the huge Ganga comes. How it comes, you won't be able to understand. That's why we say this is a statement, famous statement. Nadi Moolam, Rishi Moolam, na vicharayet. So we can go only up to a certain point. Beyond that, it is not possible. That is the idea. That is why we say Bhagavan. From Bhagavan only it has come. Narayanam Patmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim Chatat Putra Parasharancha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Athasya Shishyam Sri Shankaracharya Mathasya Patmapadam Cha Hastamalakam Cha Shishyam Tantotakam Vartikakaramanyan Asmad Gurun Santatamana Tosmi. Asmad Gurun Santatam Anatosmi. I know only my teacher and probably maybe his teacher up to some point, up to Vasishta. Started Vasishta, Narayana, first from Narayana, then Brahmaji. Narayana, the Lord, ultimate, Bhagavan. Then Brahmaji, then Vasishta, Shakti. Shakti's son is Parashara. Parashara's son is Vyasa. Vyasa's son is Shuka. Shuka's son is Gaudapada. Then Govinda Bhagavad-pada. Then Shankaracharya. Then Padmapada, Astamalaka, Totaka. It's Shishyas. Then from that came to my Guru, Asmat Gurun, to all the people, the lineage. And so many people are there in between. We cannot mention all the names. We don't know also. Therefore, we offer namaskara to the entire sampradaya, iti, this slokam. So, therefore, teacher is part of this sampradaya. Came from Narayana. Similarly, we say this shloka tells that it has come from Narayana, this knowledge. The lineage starts with from Bhagavan Narayana. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. There it states, starts from Sadashiva. Whether you say Sadashiva or Narayana, it has come from Bhagavan, from Bhagavan to the Rishis. So Rishis were the recipients of this knowledge as the Pramanam operated by Bhagavan, given this knowledge to the Rishis. From down the Rishis it has come. So therefore, this is with the Sampradaya. The fifth Sampradaya is called Arsha Parampara. Therefore, they have the key, the Parampara as the key, the Guru as the key to operate this Vedanta Vakya, which gives this Jnanam Iti. That's why importance of Guru. Now, listening to the teaching in whom this knowledge is born, that person becomes a Jivan Mukta. What is Jivan Mukta? The one Jivan eva Muktaha Jivan Mukta. The one while living itself becomes free, becomes liberated, becomes Muktaha, gains Mukti. But the author doesn't take that also for granted. He himself defines what is Jivan Mukti. That's the connection. Jivan Muktaha Bhavanti. Then what is Jivan Mukti? The Shishya doesn't know. That is the next question. And there is the next question. Here Shishya asks, we will read that. Nano Jivan Muktaha Kaha.
Nanu Jivan Muktaha Kaha.
Yatha Dehogam Purushoham.
Yatha Dehoham Purushoham.
Brahmanogam Shudroham.
Brahmanoham Shudroham.
Iti. Drida Nishchayaha.
Nishchayaha.
Tha Naham Brahmanaha.
Tha Naham Brahmanaha.
Na Shudraha.
Na Shudraha.
Na Purushaha.
Na Purushaha. Kintu
Asangaha.
Asangaha.
Chidananda Swarupaha.
Satchidananda
Kasharupaha.
Prakasharupaha.
Sarvantaryami.
Sarvantarayami.
Akasharupaha.
Chidakasharupaha.
Asmiti.
Asmiti.
Nishchaya Rupa Aparoksha Jnanava.
Dridnishchaya Rupa Aparoksha Jnanavan.
Jivan Muktaha.
Jivan Muktaha.
Who is a Jivan Mukta? Definition is given. Who is a Jivan Mukta? The meaning is the one who has got the direct knowledge, clear knowledge, clear vision. What? Aham na Brahmana. I'm not a Brahmana. I'm not a Shudra. I'm not a male. I'm the, just like we say, I'm the body, I'm a male, I'm a Brahmana, I'm a Shudra. So I'm not, then who am I? I am of the nature of Satchidananda, not affected by Akasha, etc. I am the indweller of all the beings. I am in the form of Chaitanyam. That is the Swarupa of Atma. Agam Degaha, Agam Purushaha, Agam Brahmanaha, Agam Shudraha, Asmi. All these are the the, the notions. I am the body. Agam Degaha, Agam Degavan. Agam Degavan is better, but Agam Degaha, I am the body, you say. Without body, you don't exist. That is what your strong, wrong notion is. Agam Purushaha, I am a male. Agam Purushaha, Agam Stri, iti, that notion. Agam Brahmanaha, Agam Kshatriyaha, Agam Vaishyaha, Agam Shudraha, iti. Agam Brahmachari, Agam Grastaha, Agam Vanaprastaha, Agam Sannyasi. That is also Abhimana only. This knowledge is so clear. Dhrida Nishchayaha. This knowledge is strong. I don't have any confusion to consider myself to be any of this. Myself, don't have any confusion. I strongly conclude myself to be this body, mind, and sense complex. As I don't have confusion to consider myself to be this body, mind, sense complex, so too, this knowledge, as this wrong knowledge is so strong, Dhrida Nishchaya asti. The same way, tata, Aham na brahmanaha, I am not a na brahmanaha, na kshatriyaha, na vaishyaha, na shudraha, na purushaha, na stri, na degaha, na manaha. Iti, a strong knowledge should be there. Strong knowledge. If you are not all this, the strong knowledge, opposed to the knowledge, agam degaha, agam purushaha, agam brahmanaha, opposed to that knowledge, agam na brahmanaha, agam na shudraha, na purushaha. Okay, opposed to the knowledge, so this knowledge, if it becomes strong, want to become strong, then what are you then? Into, I am not all of this, then what? Into agam asangaha, agam sachidananda swarupaha, agam prakasha rupaha, agam sarvantaryami, agam chidakasha rupaha asmi. Kintu means but. Kintu plus asangaha. Kintu asangaha yan sandhi. Agam asangaha, I am not attached. Sangha ragitaha, free from sangha, free from attachment, not connected to anything. Seeming to be connected, but I am not connected. Even at the body, mind, senses, I am not connected. So I am always disconnected. Asangaha eva. I cannot be made connected with anything. Chit jada granthi. The granthi, the knot between the Chaitanyam and the jada, really that knot is not possible. The knot is really not there. That which is really not there seems to be there. That is why jnanam is required to remove that ajnana. Atma is always asangaha. That is why nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dagati bhavakaha, achainam kledagantyapaha, ashoshayati marutaha. Not attached. It is never attached. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate. Tasmadeva viditvainam nanushochitam hargasi. Iti Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita. So aham asangaha. Sachidananda Swarupaha. I am of the nature of Sat, your existence. Chit, Chaitanyam, Ananda Swarupaha. Prakasha Swarupaha. I am in the form of Prakasha. Prakasha means a light. What light? The light which illumines everything. That light which doesn't require any light. Jyoti Swarupaha ityartaha. The light which doesn't require any light. In fact, in the presence of Atma Jyoti only, everything becomes illumined. So Prakasha Swarupaha. Agam Chidakasha Rupaha. Chit Akasha. I am in the form of Chit, Chaitanyam. Like Akasha. Chit Akasha we say. Chidakasha Rupaha. Akasha means space. Space is not affected. Space remains unaffected. Similarly, like the space, consciousness remains unaffected. Chidakasha Rupaha Asmi iti, the one who says this, I mean, the one who has this Drida Nishchaya Jnanam, who replaces all the wrong notions by the right knowledge. That person is Jivan Muktaha. That person is Drida Nishchaya Rupa Aparoksha Jnanavan. Jivan Muktaha Bhavanti. He is called Jivan Muktaha. Jivan Eva Muktaha. How do you identify a Jivan Mukta? By seeing him, can you make him is a Jivan Mukta? Or you have any detector to find out the person is a Jivan Mukta? Or is there any difference you can observe in the person before knowledge and after knowledge? What are the differences? Does it does his body suddenly disappears or does it become shining? Or as we see in the photo, that the halo will be there behind the head. Does he have a special halo? All these things need not be there. Jnanam has got nothing to do with the physical body. Who is a jnani? Jnani is one who has jnana. That's all. So all these, that halo behind the head, body becoming shining, all these things need not be there. Not required. It's not there. Not need not be there. Not there. Suppose you are suppose you are an engineer. You have got knowledge of engineering. You are a doctor. You know how to cure diseases. You can give prescriptions. So does it mean, how can you make out who is an engineer, who is a doctor by seeing the person? How can you distinguish the engineer and doctor? Only when you see him sitting in his clinic, the person is in the clinic or person in the office, only you can know the differences. Otherwise, you cannot know difference. Or if the person has got coat, even engineers also wear coat. If it's in a construction site, some different types of coat. The knowledges are different, but seeing the person, you cannot make out the difference in the knowledge. Everybody does the same way. Eating, walking, sleeping, running, everything is same. How are you going to make out the person, whether the person is engineer or doctor or whatever maybe the profession is? Similarly, with regard to Jnani also. Jnani is one who has got Jnana, knowledge, with an understanding. So he is also like any other human being. He walks, he eats, he sleeps. Like Arjuna asked in the Bhagavad Gita, Siddhaprajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava Tadadihi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrjeta kim iti. He asked, how does the Siddhaprajna eat? How does he walk? This is what he asked. Because Arjuna was curious to know. How the Siddhaprajna conducts himself in the Vyavahara, so that he can also act like him. So by acting like him, one can become Siddhaprajna. That is the idea. Faking it and making it. So who is Siddhaprajna? Stha Prajna Yasya Saha, the one whose jnanam is stita, drida, that is what here, drida nishchayaha, the one whose knowledge is clear, firm in knowing the swarupa of oneself. So, therefore, the description what is given here about Jivan Mukta is not to come for any judgment about whether person, whether he is a Jivan Mukta or not. It is just to tell you that this is how Jivan Mukta would be. So we cannot have any norms for a Jivan Mukta. This is how he should be. So let us be non-judgmental, always with reference to others. And now I want to talk about a jnani. So non-judgmental even about yourself. If you are non-judgmental about yourself, then you will not be judgmental about others. When you are judgmental about others, it means you are judgmental about yourself also. You are judging yourself all the time. It's a problem, self-judging. Therefore, only self-complex. You judge yourself, and therefore you pull yourself down. I'm not good, I'm not okay. You want to be seen as you as you want to be seen by others as you want to see yourself. First you see yourself. Why do you want approval from others? You become a approval seeker all the time. That's a problem. Why I'm not accepted? Why you have the pressure to be accepted by others? When you don't accept yourself and you want to be accepted by others. When you accept yourself, then there is no need for others to accept you. Whether others accept or not, it is immaterial for you. That's why it is judgmental. All the complexes are born from this judgment, self-judgment. You judge yourself and you have a lower self-esteem, and therefore you struggle for others to accept you. When you accept yourself completely as you are, then whether others accept or not, it becomes immaterial. I'm acceptable to myself. I'm fine being what I am. Therefore, this judgment this is something unnecessary. So don't come then with it. If it is regarding you, then what to talk about the jnani? Don't judge whether the person is a jnani or a jnani. So therefore, here the description is given only to show the nature of this knowledge. The person has the knowledge, what would be his nature? So it is for understanding, one's own understanding only it's given, not to come arrive at some judgment. So therefore, Dhrida Nishchaya Jnanam. Previously, the person has got the Nishchaya Jnanam, I am the body, I am the male, and all these things. But if you ask a Jivan Mukta, what would he say? He also will give his name, who are means he may tell his name. He may also tell, depending on his background, cultural background, social background, status, he may give. He also will give further details about him. By that also you cannot come to a judgment about a Jivan Mukta. But यथा देहं देहः अहं पुरुषः अहं ब्राह्मणः अहं शूद्रः अहम् अस्मि इति दृढनिश्चयः पूर्वम् अभवत्. पूर्वं before it was there, after jnanam what is there? तथा अहं न ब्राह्मणः न अहं शूद्रः न अहं पुरुषः इति दृढनिश्चयः. This knowledge also becomes firm in that person. For vyavahara sake, he may tell his name, he may tell his background, etc. But he knows very well. This jnanam is so strong in that person. What? Agam na brahmanaha, agam na shudraha. So, dhrida nishchaya jnanam vartate asya. So, dhrida nishchayata. So, whatever he thought about himself before knowledge is all negated now. It's all negated. Before the study of the Shastram, before receiving the knowledge from the teacher, we have the idea, agam degaha, agam purushaha, agam brahmanaha, all this complex. We never doubt with regard to this knowledge, the wrong knowledge, even though it is wrong, not knowing that it is wrong, we don't never doubt that. What we doubt only the Shastra. We accept everything without inquiry and we doubt only the Shastram. Because your abhimana with the body and connected to the body, all the things are so strong. So therefore, once we consider I am the body, then all the attributes related to the body, all the relations connected to the body, everything is becomes so strong, Dhrida Abhimana. And this wrong conclusion is so strong, Dhrida Nishchaya Ajnanam it is in fact. Whereas Jivan Mukta, after Jnanam, Jivan Mukta, the one who, the person who has received Jnanam, therefore becomes a Jnani. He has got the opposite knowledge, Virodha Jnana. What is his Jnanam? Agam na degaha, na brahmanaha, na shudraha. That is the right knowledge. Previously, the wrong knowledge. Not knowing that it was wrong, the wrong knowledge. Now it is knocked off and replaced by the right knowledge. It is here also it is all negative. Na agam brahmanaha, na shudraha. But what is that knowledge? Na agam only denial. Not this, not this, not that. But what are you then? To who are you? Agam asangaha, agam sachidananda swarupaha, agam prakasha rupaha, agam asarvantaryami, agam chidakasha rupaha asmi iti. So all these are different words. Different words used to negate different things, which you will see. We'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.